To Canada now, where the country's new Prime Minister Mark Carney and his Conservative opponent Pierre Poilievre have begun campaigning for next month's general election against a backdrop of a trade war and annexation threats from Donald Trump. The US President has threatened tariffs on Canadian exports and has spoken multiple times about Canada becoming the 51st state. Carney has called the comments disrespectful and unhelpful. On the campaign trail, the Prime Minister underlined the shift in the relationship between the US and Canada.
In this crisis caused by the US President and those who are enabling him, we lament a friendship lost, or at least a friendship strained. But we celebrate the Canadian strength we have reclaimed.
All right, let's go to Toronto now and speak to journalist Emily Ragobeer, who's keeping a very close eye on what's happening in Canada. The Conservative Party was way ahead in the polls, and then came Trump's second term. How has the political landscape in Canada changed since Donald Trump returned to the White House?
Pablo, since the U.S. president returned to the White House for a second term, it has completely changed the Canadian political landscape on its head. There's no mincing words there. I mean, just a few months ago, if we look back, when then Prime Minister Trudeau, he visited Mar-a-Lago, he visited then President-elect Trump at the end of November, to smooth out the situation, knowing he's coming into office. At that time, the Liberals did not have a very favorable time here because of Canadians are fed up with the cost of living here. Canadians are fed up with affordability, immigration issues, and really, after a 10-year pretty much mandate for the Liberals, the Conservatives seem like they were really ahead in the polls. And then, of course, now Donald Trump comes into office, and it isn't entirely changed how Canadians view politics here. And as of today, the Liberals are ahead of the Conservatives in the polls for the first time.
Yeah, it actually is interesting that what you're saying there, because in the past, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre used a style that was very similar to Donald Trump in his speeches, even using the same phrases. So has he now painted himself too much with the Trump brush, we'll say?
That's very true. I mean, the thing that is very true across the board for all the federal candidates is that this is a moment of change for them. The mandate is Donald Trump. That's exactly why, for example, the Liberal leader, Mark Carney, asked to dissolve Parliament. Today, Parliament was to resume, and of course it is dissolved for a 37-day election. But he has always, the Liberals have always put Pierre Poilievre, the leader of the opposition, the Conservatives, paralleled with Donald Trump, saying that he is quite aligned with him. And of course, Pierre Poilievre has always looked towards the Liberals, saying, look where the Liberals have taken the country this past decade, and if you vote for Mark Carney, it'll be more of the same. But now it is about affordability. Really, Pierre Poilievre is trying to distance himself from that Trump mirroring and trying to really focus on affordability and those domestic issues. But really, the number one issue is which candidate will take on the U.S. president and these threatening territorial threats, and obviously the tariff threats economically.
Yeah, I don't know if interesting times is the right word, Emily, but we'll have to leave it there, and we'll be keeping a close eye on that election campaign in Canada. Thanks for your analysis there and bringing us the latest from Canada. Journalist Emily Ragobeer in Toronto.